Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the MLS Now podcast. I'm your host, Russell. You can find me on social media at Mr. Danger Russ, but more importantly, you can find the podcast on social media at MLS Now Podcast. Now, we had a very exciting weekend. It was riveting watching some very high scoring games, some heartbreak, some memories that people will keep with them for as long as they so live. Here to discuss, as always, he's bringing his positive attitude. He's bringing his positive diagnosis for COVID. We've got Gavin. You can find him at Lions Blog One. Gavin, hello, and I'm glad that we do not record this in person. How are you?
I'm not feeling great, to be honest, so probably won't be hearing a ton of talking from me. No way we're going 2 hours tonight.
You
So,
say that,
no, I'm,
but
I'm
here's the
serious.
thing.
I'm serious this time.
Here's the thing.
I do not
Bo and
feel.
I, we said we're not doing 2 hours because Gavin's not here. There's no way we could do
And
two
then y'all
hours.
y'all did the longest episode of the season thus far without me. So I
Right.
am not the problem.
Well, here's the thing. I think, there's a lowest common denominator, and I'm not yet ready to have that conversation. So,
I appreciate you bringing that up, though, nonetheless.
yeah. Well, Gavin, quite a lot of things to get into. So, shall we dive into it, or do you want to waffle a little bit first? You want to talk about what we saw last week, midweek, the Vancouver Whitecaps versus Miami in the CONCACAF Champions Cup? Just real quick hit type thing.
I wouldn't call that waffling. I will admit that that was not officially our longest episode of the weekend or of the season. I was just being harsh on you guys, but it's close to it. Okay, midweek. But first of all, before we say anything, I'm just gonna because I haven't said this yet on the podcast, and I want to get this out on the podcast for the record. I've said it in the group chat. Whichever MLS team makes the final is winning the CONCACAF Champions Cup. I don't care if Miami complete the comeback at home this week. I don't care if Vancouver go through. Whoever goes through is winning it from MLS. I think both teams are better than Liga MX opposition.
That's a bold claim, and one that I do find quite challenging to refute as long as the match is not being played in Mexico.
Yeah, if that's the case, then maybe Miami find a way to lose it, but clearly Vancouver know how to win in Mexico, or at least get the job done in Mexico.
Right. They know how to score more goals than they did at home while still getting a draw.
Yes, exactly. No, amazing performance from Vancouver midweek. Reason I am so confident is I watched the game, the other semifinal against the two Liga MX teams, and I wasn't impressed with either of them. I think it finished 1-1, and neither of them looked like a serious team that were going to beat either of the MLS teams. At least in that first leg. I'll watch the second leg this week, of course. Is it tonight? It's either tonight.
It's Thursday.
It's Thursday, so it's Wednesday, Thursday.
Yeah, it's on the first.
Okay, so
I know this because I thought that Vancouver Whitecaps Miami was tonight, and I was like, wait, are we recording at the same time? And I looked it up, and I was like, okay, that's tomorrow. I was like, oh, okay, and the other fixture is the day after. It's neat.
yeah, so cool. No, but Vancouver played amazing, and Miami didn't look that good. They didn't look too threatening. They didn't create too many chances. Vancouver looked pretty comfortable. And so if Vancouver can do what they've done all season and go and turn in a good solid performance on the road, then they're going to be through to the final and a historic run for them.
Yeah. Now, caveat, Gavin, just a reminder, Miami Vancouver is the longest distance between two teams in a North American league for a domestic team on team competition.
That's fair. Yeah.
So and it was on turf at BC Place, which is notorious for its surface. So a lot of caveats, right? And now I think to your point, there's a lot of things that you can chalk up to and be like, yeah, but here's the thing. Even when they were on the field, like Vancouver had to play on that surface as well, and they were fine. And Miami, like even their positioning and their work rate didn't look outstanding, right? So like there's a lot of soft factors that you can say regardless, they didn't show up for that one. So I'm very interested to see what Wednesday looks like. I think Vancouver win, just for the record.
You think they
They're
win
I think they
the
win in Miami.
I could see it. I could see like a maybe it's 1-1 and there's 10 minutes left and they get like a counterattack goal. Kind of like how they got the second goal in the first leg here. I could see it for sure. Is that what you were thinking, or do you think they just go and do another like 2
No,
nil
I think
domination
they
job?
win. I think it's gonna be like a 2-1. It's gonna be like a 2-1 or maybe like a 3-2. But I think they get a 1 goal win. That said, if Miami get 3 goals, I don't see Vancouver scoring more than 3 for the record.
Yeah,
So
probably not.
that's my caveat to that is if Miami score 3, I think Vancouver at best draws. Unless they go on to do like a 7 goal win and we see yet another 7 goal win like we did this past weekend. But that's not happening.
I think it's gonna be Vancouver gonna come out strong, similar to how LAFC did, and they might get a goal, and if they do, I think that's tie over because LAFC just crumbled under the pressure, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't see Vancouver crumbling under the pressure, and even if they do crumble, I don't see them giving up 4 goals because they would have
Yeah.
the away goals at that point. That clean sheet was crucial for them in the first leg as well.
Oh, 100%. And they were relentless with pressure. I mean,
Yeah,
like
so
smothering.
impressive. Yeah, and both
So,
goals were beauties too in this game. So
oh yeah. Look, we've said it a couple times and, I'll continue to say it that I think we were very, very wrong as a podcast about expectations for Sorensen. And if I know you're not supposed to consider Champions Cup as part of, MLS Coach of the Year, but it's hard for me to not consider that within his performances. But even if you take it out, they're still sitting top of the league right now. I mean, he's got to be the front runner for Coach of the Year. It's just been an incredible turnaround
yeah, well, that's
in
the thing,
Vancouver.
right? Is you don't have to consider Champions Cup as performances as part of the ranking, but you should consider the fact that his team is in Champions Cup and
And
he's
still
still
winning.
winning and is still top of the league. It is incredible, 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 incredible. And if they can keep this momentum, they're going to tear away from the Western Conference. They already have a 5 point gap. It is insane. They
Yeah.
could be 10
This
points
is them
clear in a
playing
couple
every three
weeks.
days.
Yeah, incredible. With
I mean,
injuries.
yeah. Yeah, they don't even have Ryan Gold. I mean, it's truly like we're gonna wax lyrical, wax poetical about them more later on in the episode. So for now, let's get into the actual domestic side of things. The MLS matches as they were. Gavin, I'm gonna run down. We're just gonna go straight through the order as they occurred according to Google, starting with Cincinnati hosting Sporting Kansas City. Cincinnati taking a 2-1 win. Big new coach bounce officially over for Sporting Kansas City. I think this was I was there in person. This was a very interesting match. I'm gonna say I like the afternoon kickoffs from a fan perspective because I got to be downtown at like 11:30 in the morning. Went to a food festival, watched a match, and then by the time it was done, I was like, I have all day ahead of me. This is great. So huge fan of that 2:30 kickoff. But from an actual like product on the field standpoint, I mean, Sporting Kansas City had a few good looks, right? And Cincinnati got one or two good saves out of Salentano, where you're just like, okay, yeah, not bad, not bad. But I, they looked the better team for large swaths of the match, and yeah, I mean, look, a Kevin Denke bicycle goal is, that's Cincinnati's goal of the year, done and dusted. So yeah, you can't say too much more about him. I mean, Denke continues to just look really good. Again, I think all the soft factors for him just really, really strong. I mean, yes, he's good in front of goal, right? But you watch his off the ball movement, you watch his passing, you watch his link up play. He's such a good player.
Yeah, this was first half was a little boring. From I did watch this match. I was like, oh, Cincinnati are on prime time. I might as well.
Yeah,
Um, Even though they weren't technically prime time because there was another match, but there was no way I was watching more than 10 minutes of that Toronto NYCFC match. And we'll get to it in a second because I did watch
right.
a little bit more than 10 minutes,
Unfortunately,
but
we will get to it.
it's rough. First half was kind of boring. I won't lie. Both teams kind of feeling each other out. I think
Mhm.
that Cincinnati missed some opportunities to get through clear on goal, but you guys were the better team. Probably should have won it 2-0. I think the goal at the end is kind of a
Yeah,
hard one to take, but you guys were the better team. You guys should have had a couple more goals. I think if you had players who made the right passes instead of dribbling or instead of making the wrong attempted pass. Looking at Orejano and Evander on that.
yeah, that is Orishano. Orishano had a better match this week. However, he still seems to lack the creativity and danger that he brought when he was being played at a wingback position. And I think it comes down to the fact that he's a little too one-footed and one-dimensional as an attacker. As a wingback, you ostensibly have someone he can overlap with, and that provides, an additional attacking threat. So you have to respect Orishano a little bit more because there is another person who you would figure is going to be a threat in and around him, in addition to a striker in the box. When Orishano is an attacker, that doesn't seem to happen. So I've been, I mean, look, he's still good, right? He can still have some absolute screamers of shots, but certainly you're not seeing the magic that you saw from him last season.
Yeah, there was one run where he was on the right side and he was running in, and Engel was wide open on the left. I mean, wide open. And instead, he tried to force it through the middle, I think, to either Evander or Denke. And it was like Engel's through on goal 1v1. If you just slot that pass through, there was nobody blocking it off. And so that was one of the instances. There were a couple times where he like refused to pass to Engel. I was like, are those two beefing or something? Like, what's going on?
No, he does not have cross field switches in his toolkit.
It wasn't even a cross field. It was like a simple slip pass. Not a simple phrase to say, a simple slip pass. But he didn't. He just didn't. He tried to do a cheeky
Yeah,
through ball, and
it's not in his toolkit. That type of play, like he loves to, because all last season it worked because Acosta wanted to be in the middle, and Acosta can really work with those tight, narrow spaces because, for better or worse, that's Acosta, right? He loves taking on those needlessly complex challenges, but he's good enough that he can make them work. And so Orishano loves to feed those, and Denke and Evander are not they're not Acosta. They play a different type of game. So when you try and force it down the center, it's like that's great and all if this was 12 months ago.
right, right. Well, on the SKC side of things, I didn't have much. I don't know if you had much either. I mean, they're looking more competent without
Yeah,
Vermees, which
that's
is what we all knew was going to happen. And I think 2-1 though, like I said earlier, I think 2-1 flatters them. They didn't they had opportunities to get at Cincinnati, and they really didn't do much with it. They didn't look too threatening. That's just basically on the player personnel because the coaching
yeah.
is very basic, very standard coaching as you would expect from an assistant head coach, and who is interim right now. So
Yeah.
that's where we're at.
And look, I think it comes down to the fact that they're gonna be competent, right? They're gonna do the simple things, and that will work for them sometimes, and that's just like sometimes it's gonna be enough depending on who your opponent is or if they're having a good day or a bad day. But you know, the new coach Shine is gone. There's footage on this team. Teams know how to approach them and know how to break them down. Cincinnati had plenty of shots, plenty of opportunities. They didn't capitalize on them. A different day, maybe Cincinnati scores 3, 4, but that's the way the ball bounces sometimes.
That's the way the
So
ball bounces. Yeah.
yeah.
And so that
All
is
right.
now. I know we're about to move on, but you guys are now 5 wins in a row, right?
Yes. Yep. Cincinnati has 5 wins in a row. They sit on top of the East. They're second place in the Supporter Shield.
And there are a lot of close games. I think all of them by
A
one
lot
goal.
of yeah, tons of 1 goal wins. I think Cincinnati holds a record for 1 goal wins for like over the past 2 seasons. It's like an incredible number.
Yeah, you guys know how to grind it out. That's for sure. But
It's not great for the fans' blood pressure. I'll tell you what.
no, I believe it. Keep doing what you're doing, I guess.
I would rather we just win 2-0, but hey, that's just me, right? I'm being picky, being greedy. I want a clean win, not a 1-goal win.
My parlay was sweating this weekend too on that one, but that's okay because another team ruined it anyways.
There you go. All right, well, hey, let's move on, Gavin, to your favorite match of the weekend. Toronto 0, NYCFC 1. Toronto continue to be a shambolic team. I mean, yes, they did get one win. Toronto are no longer winless. Unlike, let me just go ahead and check this one. I believe there's now only one winless team, or is it two? Because Montreal still exists, right?
Montreal does still exist, so there are two.
Yeah, there are two winless teams. So Toronto is the only team with one win in the league. They did not get their second win on the weekend. I mean, NYCFC is one of those teams that you probably would look at and say maybe, but
Mm-hmm.
nothing doing on that one for them. Again, it's a 1-0 away win for NYCFC. Let's not spend loads of time on it. Let's keep it simple. Gavin, thoughts?
Yeah, this game was heavily impacted by the weather, heavily impacted by the wind of the game, and it made it very hard to watch. Like I said, I watched like 10 to 15 minutes of it max. Very boring, very sloppy. Um, there were moments when I watched where it was like kind of somewhat back and forth, but like it was just because of the wind causing chaos, and neither team was taking their chances. It took a penalty for a goal to go in the back of the net, and uh, that's all there is to be said. It was just a really low quality match this weekend from both teams. It puts an end to a really good run of form from Toronto, three ties and a win. So brought back down to earth, Toronto. But like we said, that was their first win of the season, and
Yeah,
very unfortunate for the Toronto fans. So
yeah. I just want to point out we are 10 matches through the season. This is just a fun fact. There are six teams that are below 1 point per game.
wow,
Do you think you
six.
can do you think you can guess who they are offhand? I mean, obviously three of them are pretty clear considering we just mentioned them.
Yeah, those three: Toronto, Montreal,
Yeah.
LA. 1 point per game.
Less than 1 point per game. And I'll tell you this.
SKC's got to be one
Um,
of them.
SKC is one of them. Yep. The other two are in the East.
Atlanta.
Atlanta on .9.
Okay. And bad start to the season. Who's had a bad start to in the East?
In the East, yep.
Didn't hasn't DC got on like a really bad run recently?
DC is the other one, also on .9.
Okay. Yeah, aren't they
Yeah.
on like I want to say they're on like 5 losses in a row. No, no, they just beat Red Bulls. But
Yeah, they beat Red
like
Bull
they were on
two
like
weeks
4 or 5 losses in a row before their last
Yeah,
win.
they were on a pretty bad slide and they're not out of the nosedive yet.
Dang. Okay. Wow.
But yeah, so your bottom teams,
All under
just
10
for
points.
yeah, just for reference. So Atlanta at 9 points, so they're sitting at .9. DC United on 9 points as well. Kansas City and Toronto both on 7 points, so they're at .7 points per game. And then the really impressive, like I'm not gonna lie to you, Gavin, I'm shocked and kind of impressed at the same time. Montreal and LA Galaxy both have 3 points at this point. We are almost a third of the way done with the season. 3 points. They could
Where
be a sub 10 point team. One of these guys could.
where are these teams picking up a win in this league? I mean, do they play each
Maybe they
other?
can play. Yeah, I don't know.
LA versus
That's
Montreal.
yeah. You
I don't
look
even
that up.
know. I don't think they do play each other.
That's unfortunate. That
I'm
would
looking
be
right
so
now.
fun.
Maybe Toronto. Maybe when Montreal play Toronto, they'll pick up a win.
They'll probably pick up a draw. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Jinkies. That's brutal. So okay,
Oof.
so Montreal. I know we're getting off topic here.
That's par for the course for us.
Montreal have Philadelphia next, so they're not winning
Hmm.
that. Even though
Right,
they're at
that's a
home,
loss.
Philly have to be winning that game. They're away at NYCFC, so no.
Yeah, I mean that's a loss.
Home to Columbus, and then
That's almost certainly a loss.
home to Toronto, which
Okay,
might be a win.
Toronto, it could be a draw.
Could be, yeah. And then LA are away to SKC, so maybe. So you're
Yeah,
saying
that's
there's
a
a
maybe.
chance. Away to Red Bulls, so there's a chance. And then away to Philadelphia, which is,
Yeah, I could see 2 draws for LA Galaxy. I think they could get a win against SKC.
it might be good for them to be on the road for a little stretch here. I feel like they're in a hoodoo at home of just like
Yeah, it's
they went
I
from never
mean,
losing at home to never winning at home.
correct. Yeah, they have at home 4 losses and a draw. And last season, I think they were like 16 wins and 2 draws or
Yeah,
something, or
they went
3 draws. It
undefeated.
was,
So,
yeah, it was incredible.
well,
But anyways, hey, we talked about nothing match for Toronto NYCFC, so let's just keep talking about that, and we're gonna do New York Red Bulls versus Montreal. And I gotta tell you, Gavin, I don't know what to make of Montreal. Like, I don't think they're a good attacking team, but they looked like they looked almost competent, I would say, defensively. Like, they only shipped 1 goal to Red Bulls, and I thought Red Bulls were gonna win this match 4-0. So, just a 1 goal win, and it was a kind of late goal, I wanna say. Yeah, it was 67th minute. Like, we're waiting a little bit for that. So, kinda surprised to see this as only a 1-0, if I'm being honest. I I guess I'll give
Red
Montreal their credit.
Bulls Red Bulls don't have a good enough attack to hit 3 or 4
Well
on a team
well, then,
on a
yeah,
regular basis.
that's true, but irregular in the sense of, they're playing Montreal.
I mean, they're still a team of professionals, but uh, ever since they got their interim coach, their defense has been better.
Yeah.
They definitely had a better defense. And for a short spell, they had a better offense with the new interim, but it was definitely a new coach bounce sort of thing. Uh, so it's just already looking like a season that is um, being thrown away for Montreal yet again, which is really disappointing.
And it's so like it's not like they just now decided to throw it away either, like a third of the way through the year. They're waiting halfway through the year. Like, it felt like they were throwing away the season 5 games in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, even before the season with some of their signings, right? It's like
Yeah.
it's just
I mean,
terrible.
how do you go an entire year basically having already written off a season? And there's like I don't see how it gets better for Montreal with this ownership group. I don't.
No, it's really unfortunate.
Yeah. I feel bad for, what remains of the fans of Montreal.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And for Red Bulls, like I said, my main thing is their attack is not good. They got Choupo-Moting, who's been decent. Like he's someone who individually is playing okay, but like the attack is not functioning as a unit. They're not creating enough chances. They're not scoring enough goals. It's it's not going to get them very far in this league, in
Yeah,
this Eastern
it's not.
Conference especially.
Okay. I have pulled up just some statistics here. The crazy thing here, Gavin, is they do sit in for the supporter shield. They sit in 13th, and they're sitting mid-table in the East, which is the part that blows my mind, considering how woeful their offense has been. They have 11 goals forced. Gavin, can you think how many players have scored goals for them? They have 11 goals. How many players does that spread across?
Choupo-Moting,
Okay.
Forsberg, that young guy. What's his name? He
You
got
gotta be
one.
specific.
I know.
That's like half their team.
He's like 20 years old, forward, young. I know he's black. That's all I know though. I can't remember his name.
Are you thinking
It's
Serge
not.
Goma?
It's not Goma. Mm-mm. He came in and he scored a goal. I can't remember his name, but that's 3. I think Goma
Mm-hmm.
did get a goal though, so that'd be 4.
Yep.
Um, I know Isla just scored a goal this season, 5.
Mm-hmm.
There's probably a couple more I'm missing, so I'm gonna say like 7.
Close, 6.
Okay, who was the forward I was thinking of?
Sofo.
Sofo, thank you. Okay, who's
That's
the
who you're
sixth
thinking
one?
of.
Was it
I'm gonna
Neelis?
mispronounce. No, I'm gonna mispronounce his name. I know it's not pronounced like it, but it looks like it's spelled Gengar, and I just think that's
Gengar.
very,
Oh,
yeah.
okay.
But I think it's like Yengar or something.
Okay. He's another young guy too.
Yeah, another young guy. But all of those guys are on one except for Choupo Moting and Forsberg.
Yeah.
So like that's a recipe for disaster because you have essentially no production coming from anywhere else on your team.
And those young guys are inconsistent. So
No, and that's like that's iconic young player, right? Is you're gonna go and you're gonna score 2 goals and then you're gonna score 3 goals the next week and then you're gonna go 2 months without a single goal. So that worries me, and I'm curious as to what they do in the summer. But between now and then is still 3 months almost, and I mean 3 months is a long time to only have basically two guys consistently creating goals for you.
yep, I think they're going to slide down the rankings personally.
Oh yeah, I fully expect them to be in like the 11 to 15 range. I think Chicago will climb back up. I think they still need to figure things out.
I mean, is that where we're going next, or
Uh, no, no, it wasn't where we were going next because that was both those teams are an hour behind. So that's actually the second to last match on Saturday,
oh, okay, that's right.
just
Yeah,
due to the fact that there were so few West Coast matches kicking off. So we'll get there. We will get there. Instead, though, we're going to talk about a little bit more exciting of a match. It's Philadelphia 3, DC United 0. So DC United go from their win over Red Bulls to a loss to Philadelphia. It's at Philadelphia. I think most people would expect DC to lose at Philadelphia. I think people would expect most teams to look for a draw at best when you're at Philadelphia, who is they've been looking mostly good this year. I mean, they sit third place in the East. They're a very pressing oriented team, and how many teams are set up to be able to play out well from under a press? And I can tell you, DC is not, and they did not look like they were set up for it, and they didn't win. They lost 3-0.
yeah. I, to be honest, I don't have much else to say other than what you
I
just said.
Yeah,
Especially
it's
when DC are missing Benteke.
hmm
Like
yeah. I
they,
mean, who's scoring?
well, definitely not Baji. I mean, he went through on goal and he skied it, and it should have been a goal for them. I think that would have made it. I think that would have made it 1-1 because Glesnes scored a beautiful goal to kick off the goal scoring in this game. But yeah, it was all Philadelphia all game, so
Yeah.
not much to
Um,
add.
Hey, stop me if you've heard this stat before. Do you think you can guess how many goal scorers DC United have through 10 matches?
Does it happen to be six?
It does happen to be six, yeah. And
Can I try to name them again?
yeah, you can try. We're only going to do it this one more time.
Okay.
We're not playing this game a third time, probably.
Damn. Okay.
Maybe we will. If I can find an insane.
Benteke.
Yeah, you got it.
Let's go.
That is about half their goals right there.
Kojima has a goal, right?
Yeah, Kojima has a goal. Yep, there's two.
Does Herrera have a goal?
Herrera does not have a
Okay, I
goal.
thought he did. Schnegg?
Schnegg does not have a goal.
Maybe he has an assist. Okay, Mural. I feel like I've seen his
Uh,
name on the score sheet.
yeah, Morel has a goal. Schnegg has 2 assists, by the way.
Okay, thank you. Uh, Stroud.
Incorrect. No,
Oh, wow. Okay. Not
doesn't even
Stroud.
have an assist
Oh,
either.
oh. Okay. I've got their squad pulled up. Enal has a
Hmm.
goal.
Yep, you're right.
Pirani has a goal.
Uh,
Don't tell me Pirani doesn't have a
Pirani.
goal. I swear he has one.
I mean, unless Pirani is his first name, he does not have a goal.
Oh my gosh, he doesn't have a goal. I thought he had one.
Yeah, maybe you're thinking of Peglo, who has 2 goals.
Oh, yes. That's right. He got the bicycle kick. I don't know. Cervania or McNaughton. I don't know the last one.
McNaughton is the last
Okay.
one. Yep.
Okay. Terrible.
Yeah, it's not good. It's
Terrible.
pretty bad. Pretty bad.
Yeah. Okay, so if you have 6 goal scorers on the season, you're probably a poor attacking outfit.
Unless those 6 goal scorers each have like 5 goals.
Right. Yes.
Unfortunately, the trend seems to be that the teams with 6 goal scorers have 2 people who have scored more than 1 goal and everyone else scoring 1 goal, which is not good.
No.
I think that is strictly bad. I'm actually curious. We're not. I just need to look up a stat here for later. I'm gonna move us on, but I mean, I am gonna do this stat with one other team, but much later in the episode. So Instead, Gavin, I'm going to move us on. It's Orlando 3, Atlanta 0. Atlanta is one of our 6 unlucky people below 1 point per game at this point in the season. You want to talk about the joyful moment you had, getting a 3-0 win over a team that is ostensibly sort of a rival?
Oh, I'd for sure call them a rival. Yeah.
Yeah, but which one's more of a rival, Atlanta or Miami?
What's funny is I would say Atlanta feel like more of a rival just because of,
Interesting. Now,
you know,
MLS executive committee will say that you're wrong for
yeah,
the
I
record,
know.
and
Because
that
you
you're
can
not a
only
real fan.
have one rival, right? You
Right,
can't have
correct. Yeah,
multiple
only one.
rivalries.
Otherwise you can't have rivalry week.
Right. Well, they just the history between the two teams that the two teams have built. The two teams have never liked each other. The fan bases have never liked each other. Atlanta kind of little broed us when they came into the league and beat us up, and we're finally getting our get back here. And every time we get a win against them, it feels a little better. It just feels good. So, yeah, I would for sure call it a rivalry. This one didn't feel like a standard Atlanta United rivalry match. Funnily enough, I think just their team has changed a lot. Our team has changed a lot. We don't have that um, bad blood between the players themselves. But I think as the fan bases, they'll still think it's a rivalry. Felt good to get the win though. Deserved win. We were comfortable in the game throughout. Atlanta were very very weak attacking wise. They had a stretch in the second half, and we dealt with it pretty comfortably. They didn't really put us under too much pressure, and just a deserved 3-0 win. And that third goal is just everything that's wrong with Atlanta. If you go and watch the sequence back a little bit before the goal, they give the ball away when trying to. It might not have even been trying to build out of the back. It just might have been like we put them under a tiny bit of pressure, and it's a bad giveaway from the defender. We don't capitalize on it. They get the ball again. They then, under a little bit of pressure, give the ball away again. We get it back to them. They get the ball back. They give it away again. Paslic this time just hits it near post. Guzan, I think, has to do better, even if he isn't, you know, he doesn't see it soon enough. I think he totally guesses that Paslic is going to go far post, and because Paslic has gone far post already a number of times this season on shots and goals, and he goes near post, and Guzan looks ridiculous, just falling over like that with the ball like still going past him. Like obviously he gets wrong footed, but it's just a terrible sequence from the Atlanta United defense and goalkeeper. And yeah, 3-0. It was a great win.
Yeah. I'm gonna echo. So Dax McCarty, I think, summarized it really well when they were talking to him about Atlanta, which is take out Brad Guzan because he's in goal.
Mm-hmm.
Who of your field players is providing leadership on the field to this team?
No one.
Yeah, agree. There isn't, and I don't
Maybe
think there's even
Lennon,
someone.
but not really. He doesn't like. He's not like leadership. B. He's just kind of
Yeah, he's a good player,
yeah.
but not like you can tell when a team is missing its leader, right? Look,
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to use the iconic Cincinnati comparison. Cincinnati without Miazga and Cincinnati with Miazga are two completely different propositions. Atlanta doesn't have that. And like I look, I think it's great that like a goalkeeper can be a leader. I don't think a goalkeeper has the ability to command on the field in the same way as literally any other field player has because they're inherently anchored to a certain part of the field.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. That's a really good point. It's yeah, that's good from Dax. I mean, he does have he
Yeah,
was literally just there, so he
yeah,
knows
he's
like the problems in the dressing room. But yeah.
Dax probably was the leader in the dressing room.
Oh, I'm sure he was. Yeah. So big, big, and usually people, someone fills that gap, but it looks like just no one is right now.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Uh,
Yeah.
Agree or disagree, Gavin? Ronnie Dyla is fired before the end of the season.
Ooh, Atlanta spent big. They have high expectations. I could see it. Yeah, I agree. I think it could happen, especially if this slide continues. He, I don't see a fix for this because Atlanta spent big, but also I said it a couple weeks ago. I think their attack is a little bit overrated. But even though that's the case, um, they spent big. You got to figure out a way to make it work. And right now, he looks nowhere close to doing that.
Yeah. For the record, I don't think many coaches come in and figure out a fix for it. I think the roster is not geared for it, but I think Dyla will get sacked for a roster misconstruction.
Yeah, I think they need to drop their pride and drop one of their DPs, and because I just the players up front don't work well together. I think they need someone who can run in behind, who is Latte Loth. They need someone on the wing who can run in behind as well, and then have one of Amaron Moranchuk, or maybe even two of Moranchuk, Amaron, Lobojanidze, but the three of them together, they just don't work. They don't work. And I know Saba runs in behind too, but like I don't know, the three of them don't work. So I think they just need a different construction up there, and that probably means one of their expensive DPs falling to the bench.
I think you're probably right, for the record, but I don't think they're going to do it.
No, no, too many politics in that decision.
Yeah, I just don't know how you justify that and them say we spent all this money. Great, doesn't have what I need. Then
Yeah, yeah.
you're now it looks like the manager and the front office are at odds, and you're going to get sacked one way or the other. So, whew,
Last
man, oh
thing,
man, so
last thing.
yeah, sorry,
Or,
Atlanta.
yeah, Orlando City's on a record streak of not allowing a goal for club history. So
Isn't it like 500 minutes right now or something?
it's like 486 or 436 or something like
Yeah,
that. They're close
it's
to 500. So
an
it's looking good.
impressive stretch.
Yeah, I mean, they haven't played amazing. I mean, it came against Philadelphia, Montreal, New York Red Bulls. So not two of the three teams, not great. And then Atlanta. So three of the four teams, I guess, not great.
Yeah, but
But
that's only
still,
360 minutes.
yeah. And then we played Philly as well, away from home, and got the 0. So yeah,
So wait, you played Philly twice?
we've already played Philly twice this season. Yeah,
That's insane.
we've already played
I
Red
hate.
Bulls twice as well.
Lucky you, not
I
having to
know,
watch Red Bulls for the rest of the season.
I know, dreadful, dreadful team.
I know. All right. Well, hey, let's shift gears. We're going to go to the Mike Miller Derby, San Diego FC versus Real Salt Lake. Mike, our former Real Salt Lake correspondent, still a Real Salt Lake correspondent, who now also is a season ticket holder for San Diego FC and is our San Diego FC correspondent. He got a guaranteed good night because either his new hometown team was going to win, or his old hometown team was going to win, or they would draw and neither of his teams would lose. So old Mike did get the W though with an RSL win. It's 3-1. I have to say I was actually kind of surprised by this because one thing that I've kind of likened San Diego to is this like really enjoyable, possession based style, right? And they didn't seem to dominate the match in the same way that you would expect them to based on how they've played throughout the season. And I checked my eye test assessment here and they had the edge, but it was like 54-46 on possession. A lot more level than what you would have expected. So, yeah, it's just very interesting. Diego Luna is still the man though. I mean, when he goes off, like I think RSL will beat anyone in the league, but does Diego Luna go off like that every single week? And the answer is no. Nobody goes off like that every single week. So I,
No,
I
but
think enjoy the win, but I don't want to read too much into it.
yeah, definitely not. Diego Luna had a great game yet again. Um, I think teams have figured out San Diego. I think that teams know when to press them and I mean that's what leads to Luna's first goal is a player kind of gets stuck in a bad situation on the right side. He gives the ball away. Luna gets it and drives up the defense and cuts it and scores a beautiful goal. And and then
That first goal, for the record, was, or sorry, his second goal, right? Because I think his first was a
no,
penalty.
his second was the penalty.
Oh, okay. Yeah, the first goal then. Oof.
Yeah, but just kind of like what you were saying is San Diego came into the league and they were pretty possession dominant and they were like hard to play against. I think people have figured them out and they know where to hurt them. I mean, they're three losses in a row. They're giving up 3 goals a game. Like it's not looking great for them at the moment. After
Yeah.
a strong start to the season,
Yeah, and I still think they're gonna figure it out. I mean, look, it's a defined style, right? It's a style that we know works globally in other leagues across other teams. Like, they're gonna find a way to make it work. I still think it comes down to the fact that, like, it when San Diego gets the ball, right, and they push into the final third, what respect and or fear do you have for San Diego?
like defensively or offensively.
Offensively, like, what are you gonna do when San Diego has the ball and they're advancing on the final third? Like, are you sitting there worried nonstop, or are you like, oh, okay, well, it's either gonna be Dryer or Lozano?
Oh yeah, I'm
And
not too worried because I don't
yeah,
fully think Dryer has the final ball on him at times, and
yeah,
Lozano, I've said since the beginning, he's not really a consistent goal scorer or even an assister. He's just kind of like a winger with a flashy name nowadays.
yeah. I mean, Lozano's still a great player, but I
Yeah,
just and neither of those guys are the guy to
agreed. Yeah,
go out and win you the match all on their own.
they're not a Boanga. Yeah,
Yeah, like a Buanga, he's gonna go and you can like reliably count on him to show up big when it matters, like he
right,
did this past weekend, for
right,
instance.
right.
But and we'll get to that. We will get to that. Although, well, actually, no, that was 2 weeks ago that he showed up really big, right?
No, that was Sunday.
Was it really Sunday?
Hmm.
Feels so long ago.
Well, I mean, he scored against Portland. I mean, he's been scoring consistently, but
Yeah, he scored against Portland. He scored against St. Louis. Yeah,
yeah. So it's both weeks, I guess. But this week
it is both
especially,
weeks. Yeah, and you know what? I had to go back and look. Yeah, it's a 90 plus 5 for Buonga's second goal. Like, yeah, that's
dude, that
showing up
goal
big.
was
That is,
insane.
you knew it was coming too. For the
Oh yeah,
record,
oh yeah,
like,
insane.
you saw it developing. You're just like, it's coming. Like, this is gonna end 2-2. Like, this has all the hallmarks of being a last minute heartbreak.
From Boanga,
Yeah.
he just locked in. It's great.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, no,
So,
San Diego's attack don't scare me. Um, if I'm a defender, no, I think that they're handleable.
hmm, yeah, agree. So, all right. Well, hey, let's keep it moving then, Gavin. We're almost halfway done with this episode. We might keep it under 2 hours, Gavin. You said it was going to be under 2 hours. We might do it. I'm not
We'll
going to
see.
commit to it.
Don't commit to it.
Yeah. Uh, Now I'm going to go to the actual shocker match of the weekend that I did not have on my bingo card. Charlotte 0, New England Revolution 1. This is like, I will tell you, Gavin, take Caleb Porter out of the equation. This is the most New England Revolution win, like, result that you could ever imagine based on how you know that organization, where it's like they're going to be in like a bad run of form or like a very clear underdog, and they're going to go to a team that is known for being really successful in certain situations, especially the one that they're in, and then they just pull a win out of nowhere. And it's not like a beautiful, amazing, clean win. It's like a gritty win just out of nowhere, and they did it this weekend.
Are we ready to have the conversation that New England might be an okay team in this league? Are you ready for that?
I'm not I'm not emotionally ready.
Because we were we
Logic,
were we were dogging on them earlier this season, right?
and I think we were still right to dog
I
on them.
but just hear me out, okay? So they started their season away at Nashville. They lost at home to Columbus. That's understandable. They lost against Philadelphia at home. That's understandable. They lost away at New York City. That's understandable because Yankee Stadium tax. Then they beat Red Bulls. Lost away to
Not not super impressive for the record.
not super impressive. No, I'm not saying that they're amazing. Lost to Cincinnati on the road. That's understandable. A win away at Atlanta, which not super impressive. A win against New York City at home, not super impressive. And a win away at Charlotte, that is very impressive. Okay.
Agree.
So they have like one impressive win this season, and everything else is kind of like, yeah, that somewhat makes sense for a
Yeah.
half decent team when you take Caleb Porter out of the equation. Like, it's weird, right? It's weird. We've been dogging on them, but they are now 3 wins in a row, and this is the biggest of their season. And so it looks like from the outside looking in that things are starting to look average. Things are starting to look okay in New England versus where they were at last season.
Counterpoint. New England still sit outside the playoffs in a league where like 2/3 of each conference makes the playoffs. And if you don't make the playoffs, I think you're a below average to maybe not good team.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
and 3 wins on the bounce is not something that you just do consistently. Like
right.
I think they will regress towards the mean a little bit. I mean they're like points per game or 1.2 is what they're at. So they're on 12 points across 10 games. Like
Their problem is they're
I
either winning or they're losing. They're not drawing. That's
yeah,
that's part of their problem.
like I can see a world where they end the season somewhere between like 1 and 1.2. I think this is like their ceiling for level of success right now. And
Okay,
I don't know if I don't know if I call that an okay team.
okay, we'll see. We'll see.
But again, it's a win away at Charlotte. I agree with you. Is a very impressive result. It does not matter which team does that
Right. I'll.
because this was Charlotte's first home loss.
I think
This was
these.
their first home non-win. They are 5 wins, 1 loss.
Yeah,
That's their home record for the
yeah.
season.
This was a shock for sure. New England's next 5 games will tell us a lot about who they are as a team now. They're away against Toronto, so that'll tell us where they're at. Away against Orlando, home against San Jose, away against SKC, away against DC. They're not playing great teams, but most of them are away. So if they're a good team, they probably go and win some of these games. But if they're just an okay team, they probably struggle to get through some of them, even though they're on the road against bad teams, who we think are bad at least.
I think that San Jose is going to be a devastating loss for them. Just the soft factors on that one speak to me of being a huge like former head coach who was pushed out, comes back
All the
coaching a
players.
different team, a whole bunch of players that used to be on that team that the team pushed out come back as well, looking to prove a point.
Yeah.
Like all the soft factors are telling me it's going to be like a 4-1 win or something for San Jose.
God, I hope that's Sunday night soccer. If the league did not put that on Sunday night soccer, they don't know what they're doing. I'm
We can
sorry.
find out.
I'll check real
Let's
quick.
look.
It's on the 17th of May.
It's on the 17th of May. That's a Saturday.
It's a Saturday. They
It's
stuck
a
them in the
Saturday
7.
Saturday 7:30.
Not the 7:30 time slot.
Yeah, it's the 7:30. And the worst part about it is Saturday 7 o'clock that weekend is Hell is Real, which is probably one of like your bigger label matches.
Oh, that is literally rivalry week. They stuck them in rivalry week. There's all the rivalries: Montreal, Toronto, NYC, New York Red Bulls,
Mm-hmm.
Portland, Seattle, Colorado RSL, Miami, Orlando, LA. Holy, okay. So they stuck them in rivalry week. So I
Yeah,
guess that's what they were thinking is they're now a rivalry because of that.
well, I'll tell
Last
you what,
coach.
I think this would be a great matchup, but I'm not going to watch it
No, too many
because
other good
my
matchups.
eyes are going to be glued to Hell is
That's a
Real.
bummer. Well, anyways, we're
Yeah,
still in the spotlight from their win. That's my fault. Still in the spotlight from their win over Charlotte.
right.
Which is like we said, a huge, huge result. This was my
Yes.
I thought this was a guaranteed win for Charlotte. And it probably should have been. They created a lot of chances. They missed some goals. I think they left some goals out there. And New England just went and got their one goal from Carlos Hill, like they do, and get out of there with a 1-0 win. Very smash and grab type performance from them.
Yeah. Well, good on them for getting the win that honestly they may be one of like two teams that gets a win at Bank of America Stadium this season. So
Yeah.
if nothing else, put that feather in your cap for the season.
Hey, one thing you said a couple of weeks ago is you said, I guarantee you the teams that win at Bank of America will be some of the best teams in the league this season.
You know what? That apparently
That
includes some of the most mid teams as
the
well.
middest team of them all.
Yeah. They sit almost exactly in the middle of the supporter shield race as well.
What I was going to say is New England, are they our new Sartini index just as a team instead of the coach?
No. Uh-uh. You know, I'm not putting them there. I'm not committing them to that. I have too much respect for Vanni Sartini.
For our newer listeners, Russell and I did a head coach ranking once, and we put smack in the middle Vanni Sartini. And so we said if we think this coach is better than Vanni Sartini, we think they're in the above average coaches in the league.
Yeah.
And
if they're worse than Vanni Sartini, you fire them.
You fire them.
Because they're bringing down the quality of the league. Like I still back that up. Like I still think that Vanni Sartini is like if you had a league that was composed entirely of coaches that are no worse than Vanni Sartini or better, you would have a really tactically fun league to watch.
I think that's right. I think that's correct.
Yeah.
So there's some context for you guys.
Yeah. Well, hey, here's some context for you, Gavin. I don't have any context for it. Hey, Columbus 2, San Jose 1. So Columbus win. This is one that I think this is like a chalk match, right? Like you would look at this and be like, Columbus at home, you would expect to win over San Jose, and they did. Like this is, I don't want to be like hey, this match means nothing, but it's like win the matches you're supposed to win. This is one of the ones you're supposed to win. Like I don't know. I think the weird thing to me is just the fact that Columbus were not very effective shooting on goal, and yet they still won. Like both their shots on goal turned into goals. But like that was it, right? If either one of those didn't turn into a goal, like they didn't have any other shots that could have turned into a goal. Whereas San Jose had they had 6 shots on goal. That only manifested into 1 goal. So yeah, it's weird, right? Like I think this is one that Columbus was supposed to win, but the stats might tell you that maybe Columbus got fortunate in the result because both their shots were goals. And whereas, they saved almost all of San Jose's chances.
It may not look like I had been listening, but I was listening, and you basically said everything that I wanted to say. This was
excellent.
So.
Damn you, Russell.
Yeah, that's right. For those who could hear, the person behind the curtain cursing me from Gavin's side.
Yeah, we'll have to increase the audio for that one. I thought that San Jose created a lot. I think Columbus's defense is still a worry, and Columbus were maybe a little fortunate to come away with the win here. But like you said, it's a match that they should be winning. So it's kind of like when you look at the result, it's like, yeah, on to the next. But a little worrying from Columbus's defense.
Agree, and I want to pull in the weekly power rankings from the MLS soccer website.
Those don't mean nothing,
they don't,
bro.
I agree with you, but here's the thing, Gavin. Hear me out.
Okay.
They have Columbus sitting at 3rd in the power rankings. And where this boggles my mind, because I think that's too high, they literally have them ahead of Miami, who beat them. And Miami were the road team. So, you have a head-to-head between those teams, and you have Miami below Columbus. Like, in my mental math space, I flip those, right? Like, that in a head-to-head matchup that Miami wins that. because they won it on the road against Columbus. Now, granted, that was in Cleveland, so I mean, how much of a home match is it really? But doesn't matter. You have a head-to-head to reference, and I don't know why Columbus sit above Miami because I also don't think that Miami are worse than Columbus. So,
And that
yeah, I
is
don't.
why I said that the power rankings don't mean anything.
Again, agree. It's one that like it boggles my mind, and I'm curious where you would put like if you were gonna just assign arbitrarily from like 1 to 30, where you put Columbus in terms of like best team or power ranking team, where would you put them? Would you put them at third? Is maybe the better starting point.
That's a good question. Okay, so Vancouver's got to be number one.
Vancouver's number one, yes.
Who's in front of Columbus? Cincinnati,
Yeah, Cincinnati's at number two.
and then Columbus, and then what? Miami.
Mhm. And then Miami at four. Yeah.
I think flipping them is fair. I think you're right.
Okay.
I think that's a solid list, though. A top four. Five is hard. There's a lot of teams you could try to fit in at five.
Okay. Without looking, who do you think they put at five?
I know they didn't put Portland, but Portland have been doing pretty good recently. They've been on a good run. So,
Mm-hmm.
but I know for a fact they didn't give them that level of respect.
They did not give them that level of respect, but Portland are at least in the top 10.
Okay. Maybe Philadelphia.
That's exactly who they put.
Okay, yeah. Okay.
Which is interesting because I don't know. Again, I don't know if I don't know if I disagree that Philadelphia should be like close to five, but I might have put Portland higher than eight. Like I might have put Philadelphia at six, but
Yeah, 5 or 6.
also yeah, but also like who else are you gonna put up there from the West? Like, are you gonna put Austin? No. You're gonna put Minnesota? No. You're gonna put Colorado? No.
Right. Yeah. Yep. Okay.
Cool.
Cool.
All right. Hey, let's talk Houston. Houston get a win. That's big news for the record. Houston do get a win.
Yeah.
It's at home. It's over Austin, so one of the Copa Tejas matches. You love to see it. Obviously, I'm not gonna lie, Gavin. I'm not really sure how they get these wins because, like, I don't have tons of respect for Houston right now. Like, Ponce gets a goal, which is always very interesting to me because I'm not very high on Ponce. And then on top of that, it was Linger got the other goal. But yeah, it's weird to me because no, like Houston on paper don't seem like they should have won this, and yet they did. And my concerns on Austin are well documented at this point. Those haven't changed.
Yeah.
Is this here's a thought. Is this just one of those matches where it's like two teams who are both underperforming what you would expect? Like one of them had to win, so it may as well have just been Houston since they were at home. Like is that what this match boils down to?
Probably. It's probably just a random match with the home slant, is what I'm thinking. Two teams with something on the line because it is a rivalry as well. Like, this was a weird match for me to analyze. I agree.
Yeah.
I agree with you.
I still don't have a good grasp on it. That said, I'm just doing a. Where do you think? I'm having fun with the power rankings now. Where do you think they put Austin in the power rankings? For the record, Austin's at third in the West.
I don't know, like 13.
Super close, 15th.
Yeah, because they're not third in the West level. That's what the
They're
power
not.
rankings are good for, is putting
Yeah.
teams that are overperforming in their place.
Yeah, I agree. And I think if you had them 15th in the supporter shield, like that would be around New England level, and that's probably about right.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, we're turning New England. I don't want to do it. I don't want to turn them into the measuring stick.
I think we have to.
I don't want to. I'll fight it. I'm going to fight it by taking us onto a really exciting match. Nashville 7, Chicago Fire 2.
Touchdown!
Yeah, this was a brutal match to watch, and yet, Gavin, I maintain that after 4-0, this match stopped mattering. Like you could end your notes at 4-0.
What was that,
Like,
like 30 minutes into the game, right? Or was that 20
Yeah.
minutes into the game?
No, it was because Sam Surge penalty at 14 minutes, and then Andreas goal 22 minutes, and then Mukhtar goal 25 and 31 minutes. So yeah,
Mm-hmm.
the 31st minute was 4-0. And I think at that point, like, again, your notes could just stop from there on out.
Yeah.
Like, team, I don't think a 4-goal lead has ever been blown, as far as I know.
Not that I know either.
And
I'm sure it's
yeah,
happened, but you're talking just in MLS, right?
yeah, correct.
I'm sure there's been one that went to like 4-4 once because this league is psycho, but yeah, this game ended at 4-0 in 30 minutes. I mean,
Yeah. And then it got worse because then Nashville put 3 more up before Chicago answered with anything. So again, I think like your notes about it, like the substitutions were happening relatively early. Like Berhalter did a double substitution in the 37th minute,
yeah.
and then did 2 more at 45. Like, again,
To be honest, I think we didn't. Unfortunately, I don't think we learned anything about either team in this game. I think this is just one of those games where everything went perfect for Nashville, and everything went wrong for Chicago. And except for my boy Kuipers getting on the score sheet. Thank you, sir, for at least doing something.
Is it because you have Kuipers in the Golden Boot draft we did?
Yes, of course.
But don't forget who has Sam Surridge in there.
Oh, no, no. That's okay. Kuipers still has the most goals in the league.
I mean, Surridge, I think, just put a sizable dent in that lead, though.
Yes, he did. But yeah, it was just I don't think we learned anything about Chicago. This isn't going to happen again to Chicago this season. And if it does,
yes.
like that, then we're learning something. But as of right now, I don't think it's going to happen again. That's not a hot take. And then this isn't going to happen again for Nashville either. Like, yes, their attack has been better, but like no team does this.
They're not. Yeah.
So
they are not getting 7 goals again.
Not even 4 goals in 30 minutes again. Like, that's just, it's crazy game. So nothing, we didn't learn anything, but it was it's cool to watch the highlights of just like the insanity of it.
Yeah. For the record, Kuipers is tied for most goals in the league. He does not have sole possession of that title.
No, that's right. He's tied with Ty Baribo, who I also got in the draft.
Yep. Okay. Well, I'm keeping everyone honest here.
It's good to be honest.
Yeah.
I don't love it though.
Okay. Well, we don't have to talk about it then. Anything else you want to talk about for this? I mean, like, again, I don't think there's much. I agree. I don't think there's much you can take away from this match. Like, I stopped taking notes relatively early because it became a nothing match. Like,
I know you said no more notes after the 4th goal, but the last 2 goals for Nashville are literally carbon copies of each other. Like, Chicago just had given up. When you concede the same exact goal twice, like that shows that you do not care about this match. Because when you concede a goal, you literally like adjust in the game. But the 6th and 7th goal, just a long ball from Nahar, and Surge gets onto it, and it's in the back of the net. It's pretty funny to look at.
Yeah. So while that is a note, I feel justified when I say I don't have notes on that.
Yeah.
All right, Gavin, I'm moving us on. We're going to talk about Colorado, Seattle. This was, I mean, it's a 1-1 draw. I don't know how much I read too much into this because, I mean, look, it felt like just a very standard MLS match. Like, if that makes sense, right? Like, both teams had chances. Both teams didn't take advantage of them. Both teams were like about even in possession. Like, they were both equally aggressive. This was the most. You watch this and you're just like, a draw would be the right result, and then you got a draw.
Yeah, I agree. With everything else that's happened this weekend, this was the match where it's like, yeah, these 2 teams played, and that's about that. Sorry.
Yeah,
I'm
like
sorry, guys.
and look, I think part of the challenge is they were in an overlapping time slot with the Nashville-Chicago match, which was great fun if you just wanted to watch goals happening.
Right.
So, yeah, I mean, otherwise, like, both goals came within 10 minutes of each other. Like, one's at 45 minutes, the other's at 54. I could have, skipped the match other than that 10-minute span.
Yep. We'll talk about them more next week if there's something to talk about.
Yeah, we will. Instead, though, Gavin, we're going to talk a whole lot. So this takes us to the Sunday onslaught. And I got to say, just as a forward, loved the Sunday programming this week. Loved it. Chef's kiss.
So
You
the
had
9 p.m. game. No?
Wait, hold on.
Okay.
You had 4 distinct kickoffs. You had 4 matches. There was 0 overlap for those matches. You could watch every single one of them. Give me more of that.
I agree.
Yeah. Now go to your 9 p.m., which is not the match we're talking about first, for the record.
Obviously. But why was that one not considered Sunday Night Soccer? Like, that felt kind of random. We have a game after what's supposed to be the penultimate game of the weekend, right?
Right. That's because that match was
the ultimate. Penultimate's the second to last, right? So I guess it would be
penultimate is the second to last.
Okay, so the last game of the weekend. I thought Sunday Night Soccer was supposed to be the last one, but not this weekend.
Well, you'd think that, but here's the thing: this was MLS After Dark.
True. Different.
So
the same but different.
It's no longer Sunday Night Soccer. It's MLS After Dark.
Right.
And there was plenty of MLS After Dark in that match.
Right.
But again, that's for later, Gavin. We're instead going to talk about the team of the hour, Vancouver Whitecaps. They went away to Minnesota. They're in the middle of a deep CONCACAF Champions run. Teams struggle with this all the time. Vancouver go to Minnesota. They win 3-1 on the road. Stay top of the table. Not just Supporter Shield, but in the West, or not just in the West, but Supporter Shield. It's a really comprehensive win, is the thing. And that's why, Gavin, I'm now going to bring a statistic / question up for you. How many players do you think have scored goals for the Vancouver Whitecaps?
Don't you dare say 6. Don't you dare say 6.
I'm not saying anything, Gavin. You're the one who's guessing.
6.
No, 11.
Okay.
11
Woo-hoo!
players. 11 players have scored for the Vancouver Whitecaps. I haven't fact-checked this. I would go out on a limb and say that is probably the most number of players that have scored for a team league-wide.
You're probably right. I can't think of another team that would have that many. There are some teams that probably don't even have 11 goals.
There are teams that don't have 11 goals.
Yeah.
How many players do you think you could name of the 11 goal scorers for Vancouver? I mean, you've got basically a 50-50 chance if you just name the senior roster at this point.
Dude, I don't even know if I could name you the 11. I mean, Gald, he should have a goal, right?
Gald has a goal.
Before he got injured.
Singular goal, yeah.
Nelson.
Nelson.
Rios.
Yeah.
Adekugbe,
yeah. They're at 4.
Obviously White. That's an easy one.
Yeah, White, that's 5. You're missing an easy one.
Berhalter.
Yep, there you go. There's the easy one. That takes you to 6.
Vite.
Yep, that's another easy one. 7.
Didn't Tate Johnson get a goal? Or did he get an assist?
Tate Johnson did get a goal.
Okay.
Takes you to 8.
Okay. Ali Ahmed.
I think he had a Champions Cup goal, not a regular season.
Okay. Did I say Ngando already?
You did not say that, and you would not be right.
All right. Yeah, I'm running low. It might be a couple center backs, but or maybe like a combo or something. Oh, Rios. Did Rios get a goal?
You said Rios already.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Tristan Blackman.
Okay.
Laborda. And then Sabi.
Sabi, that's right. Okay. Yeah, wow. They're creating a lot of chances.
They're creating a lot of chances, and they're getting production from everywhere.
Yeah, impressive.
I mean, it's like my mind is blown by this because, I mean, some of these guys, like Brian White's only played 8 matches. He's got 6 goals. He's almost at 1 goal per 90 right now, which is incredible.
Yeah, we can't understate just what Vancouver are doing. And I hope like usually we just kind of gloss over things. We can't do that here. They're 5 points clear in the West while on the cusp of making the final of CONCACAF Champions Cup. That doesn't happen.
Have we ever seen, and maybe it would be a good fact check for next week. Have we ever seen a team make a deep run into Champions Cup and do well, let alone lead the league at the same time?
I'm sure teams have done well, but we've always probably got a caveat that like, oh, they're doing well while competing in CONCACAF Champions Cup. Oh, they're probably in like 3rd or 4th place. Like this doesn't happen.
I think we might even say they're doing well, all things considered, and they'd be sitting in like 6th.
Right. Yes.
Like look what Seattle does all the time, and people will be like, "Well, Seattle focus on CONCACAF Champions Cup, so of course they're sitting in 7th or 8th in the league, and that's why no one's worried about it because they're going to bounce back once Champions Cup is done."
Cincinnati before and after Champions Cup being bounced out of the Champions Cup, totally different team results wise. You guys are 5 wins in a row since that happened. Columbus as well. Like they were drawing a lot. Now they're starting to pick up more wins. Vancouver are just
nobody does this,
and they're on the road for a lot of these. Like it's not even that they're at home and they're kind of getting the home slant. Like they went away against Minnesota and picked up a 3-1 win with a lot of their players. With a lot of their players rotated, but the guys went out there and did the business. Like Vite and Berhalter got the goals. Those guys are going to start against Miami. They started against Miami in the first leg, and they've been some of the best players on the team this season. It's just incredible. So yeah, shout out to Vancouver. What they're doing should not be understated. Best team in the league right now.
For the record, Minnesota has 1 loss at home, and you now know who that is too.
Yep. Wow. Well done.
Yeah, I mean, truly, like it may be the most comprehensive or impressive showing from any MLS team in recent memory.
Yeah, and so
teams just were not built for multiple competitions in this league. There's a reason why they pause the whole league for Leagues Cup when they do that with Liga MX. There's a reason why they complain about US Open Cup and be like, "Oh, we can't do US Open Cup at the same time as regular season. That's too much work. We can't work every 3 days. Can't go out and play."
Well, now don't forget Leagues Cup is intermingled into the season again. Not again, but there's no pause this year, right?
I thought there was still a pause this year.
Maybe it's just a smaller pause, but isn't there I think it's a match weeks?
I thought it was a pause for the teams, like the teams that are in Leagues Cup are just focusing on Leagues Cup.
Oh, okay. I thought it was intermingled throughout the season, and like maybe those teams have like a bye that week or something. Maybe that's what it is.
Well, here, I can make this really easy because Cincinnati is in Leagues Cup, and let me pull up my season tickets for Cincinnati. Leagues Cup, so yeah, Cincinnati have Leagues Cup Phase 1 at FC Cincinnati on July 31st. And the next home match that I have tickets to is Charlotte FC at FC Cincinnati, August 10th.
For MLS?
Yeah.
Okay.
So ostensibly it's a mini pause for like the group phase, and then probably like they split it after the group phase.
That's got to be so hard to schedule.
Yeah, almost like a mini international break, it feels like. Yeah. And then Cincinnati are also on the road a ton for Club World Cup. Like Cincinnati are at home at the end of May, and the next time they're at home is in July because of Club World Cup kicking them out of their own stadium.
Yeah. Well, sorry, Minnesota. You guys were not talked about a lot because we just had to talk about Vancouver and the amazing job that team is doing. The whole team.
Mm-hmm.
They rotated heavy
truly.
and still won the match.
Yeah, and convincingly won the match. It's not like this was a 1-goal win.
No, they're killing it.
Hey, speaking of convincing wins, Dallas on the road comes back 3 unanswered goals to beat Miami 4-3. Did you watch this match, Gavin?
I did. It was chaos. Yeah.
It was, and you can stop me, but I don't think you'll need to if you disagree with this. It was the best match of the weekend.
Yeah. From watch wise.
Incredible. And the part that really impresses me, I had to go back and look. I don't think Lucho Acosta was involved in any goal.
Not really. No, I don't think he really played that well, to be honest.
He was frustrated, and you saw him doing this a lot and throwing his hands around, and
So you mean like what he does every
complaining
week?
to the ref, yeah, and he has matches like that, right?
Yeah.
Like I don't know why, he picked the one that Messi was attending to do. Maybe he was so worried about Messi in the stands that he wasn't thinking about
Yeah.
the players on the field. I don't know, but
No.
I mean, he does it from time to time.
I know it was a rotated Miami, and they had their eye on the semifinal, of course. But
Miami has good quality players, even if they rotate. Like, there's a reason that Miami are so high up the power rankings.
right, but you can have good quality players, but they didn't have their playmakers. They didn't have the players to go in and do the business on offense and defense.
And I argue that on offense, at least, and let me just hold on. What are the lineups for Miami?
Now they did score 3 goals, so
yeah,
they did what they needed to do, I guess you could say, but
they still
they didn't have
had
their guys out there.
they still had some good starters in there. I mean, they were partly rotated for sure, but like Falcone was in there, Bray was there, Yannick Bright was there, Kromoski was there, Pico was there, like Aviles was there.
Yeah, those are just supposed to be supporting cast guys for Messi and friends, though, right?
Well, yes, but I mean, those are still nominally starting caliber players.
Yeah,
Like,
definitely.
it's not like they're fully rotated.
No, yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. No, one thing that I loved about this was just Dallas weren't afraid of Miami. Now, maybe that's because Suarez and Messi and Alba and Busquets weren't on the field and Redondo and all that. But, still, Dallas weren't afraid of them. They countered. They pushed them back. Even at 3-1, they just, I don't know, teams usually are afraid of Miami. And I think maybe it was the fact that they went down 3-1 that Dallas was just like, screw it. Like, we're already losing. We might as well go all out for it.
Yeah.
And then
what's going to happen? Are we going to lose more?
Yeah, right. And so they went all out and they got the momentum and they held on to it tight and they got the goals that they deserved. Just a really, really fun match to watch. And full props to Dallas because a lot of teams don't do this. A lot of teams usually, they show some good signs, but they don't finish their chances for whatever reason. Miami puts in a good tackle or it's a bad miss. No, Dallas took their chances. That last goal was just amazing. Just riding the pressure, putting the ball across the box, and Pedrinho gets the goal. It's just, such a good goal to watch. But yeah,
it's
just
it's definitely a top 5, but not top 1 goal of the weekend.
No. Just aesthetically,
I think we know the top 1 goal.
When you score a bicycle kick, sorry, there were a lot of good goals this weekend, but bicycle kick wins it.
That one wins. That's the goal of the week.
It's just it is what it is. So
that's the rules. I don't make them. I actually do make them, but I'm telling you that's the rules.
Yeah. Well, great from Dallas. Deserved win.
Yeah, and I think what stands out to me, right, is when you look at Dallas, like the fact that they scored as many goals as they did, it wasn't like the ball bounced their way or they had we got very fortunate in these chances. I want to read a stat to you. Shots on goal, Miami 4, Dallas 9. Shots, Miami 8, Dallas 9. Yeah,
really?
I see your eyes. You just realized what that stat means.
Dallas went 9 for 9 on shots.
That's what the stats are saying.
Where are you reading that?
The internet. Same places I read all this stuff,
Google has them at 13 shots.
Okay, well, this site has them at 9-9. So
Well, either way, Google does have them as 9 shots on target, which that alone is impressive. 9 shots on target in a game is really good. But if it is true that they went 9 for 9 and the Google stats are wrong, like, wow.
Well, now you've got me wanting to look. Hold on. What's MLS say? Nice. MLS is reminding me that Canadian Championship is going on right now. Awesome.
Any of the MLS teams in it?
No. There was no MLS teams in it. Stats. They have MLS has them as 13 shots, so I will take it as MLS since they're the official stats keepers for the league. So I'll recant it.
Okay.
They're 13 shots, 9 on goal though.
Still good.
Which is still like, look, you make your own luck, right? Is the phrase. In this case, like 9 shots on target is very respectable.
Yeah.
Very respectable. Yeah. I'm curious, what was the XG if they had it? Expected goals 2.2. Miami was actually 3.1 expected goals, so there you go. Dallas technically way overperformed what MLS would have expected, but MLS also, they've always gotten expected goals wrong.
I don't like MLS's expected goals.
Yeah, neither do I. So yeah, look, a great win for Dallas. It's just what it comes down to.
Absolutely. Yep.
I have zero faith that Dallas replicates that though.
No, that was a one-off. That was just Miami where
that I think that we will look back on this and say that this was Dallas's best match of the season when we get to the end of the year.
Okay. I'm with that. I'm with you on that. I like that.
Dallas fans probably don't like that. Sorry, Dallas fans.
Yeah, Bo's going to kill us for that one, but it is what
no,
it is.
He won't. Bo's going to have a very well-reasoned, logical take that ends up with him half agreeing with us.
Yeah, probably. We love you, Bo.
All right. We got 2 matches left, Gavin. Oh my gosh, I got to make sure we take 15 minutes each on this just so that we don't possibly come in under 2 hours on this recording. That would be absurd if we did that. LAFC 2, St. Louis 2. It's the Denny Bouanga show. Denny Bouanga with the 90+5 heartbreaker. Gets the cheers from the crowd. It's a draw that feels like a win if you're LAFC in this case. I mean, look, going into this match, I think you look at this and say, this is 3 points. St. Louis are struggling.
Yep.
Don't lose to them, obviously, but you expect 3 points from this match. And that is, there's plenty of context of, well, if you finish them off sooner and you put them away, then the own goal that you get right at the end ends up not being, something you're worried about. And, they were down a player. Like, again, there's all the caveats and everything you can put into it. Point being, though, like, look, Mellberg plays a very defensive style. I don't think 10 men or 11 men makes a big difference. It doesn't impact how they open up. You got an absolute stunner to claw back a point that you probably would have taken by the end of that, and it felt like a win.
Yeah, not a great place to be in if you're LAFC. St. Louis, we're going to do the ultimate smash and grab. Literally, like
an 89th minute own goal
while down a man, right? Like, honestly, they looked a little bit better with 10 than 11. Like, maybe they should just go get a red card to start every match. Like, they didn't look great in this match, other than when they went down to 10 men, where they had a little bit more chances, because LAFC were just like, okay, well, we're up a man and we're tying, so we're going to throw caution to the wind, and we're up a man, so we're just going to flood the box, and they were just too open, and it allowed St. Louis to get forward a couple times, and they got a free kick or a corner or whatever it was. They got the own goal, and I did think like that was it for LAFC. They were about to lose to St. Louis at home while down to 10 men. Well, St. Louis had 10 men, but Bouanga, man, he was like, he wasn't having that. He goes and just beautiful, just takes on his man. I gotta say, St. Louis defenders, Bouanga wants his right foot there. You have to do everything in your power to stop him from getting on his right foot, get him near post on his left foot, and you just hope he doesn't, hit in the back of the net. But to allow him to just get onto his right foot, and I know it's easier said than done, right? Like Bouanga's shifty, but still, like, and I know it's like they were panicking. It was panic stations.
I was panicked.
Yeah.
And I was watching via TV. Like, I was nowhere near the stadium. I was on the other side of the country, and I was panicking.
You could tell the St. Louis defenders were like, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit, oh shit. And he just took full advantage, cut inside. When he scored that, I went, oh my God, he really just did that. It was insane.
He
It
is
was insane.
the guy.
The guy, yeah. So it feels like a win for LAFC. It's still a disappointing draw, in my opinion. But in the moment, yeah, it felt like a win for them.
Yeah, agree. And that's a great way of putting it, is going into this match, LA would have been pissed to get a draw. Like, how are you going to drop points at home to one of the least effective attacking sides in the league? In the moment when you're down 2-1 to red card St. Louis and you get the tying goal, you're on cloud nine. Side note, I was thinking of the Geico commercial, like the old Geico commercial just now. I wish Denny Bouanga had got the tying goal and went up to the camera and done like the no, not in my house thing.
That would have been awesome, yeah.
That would have been very funny.
Yeah. No, he was going too crazy. Yeah, St. Louis should have been nowhere near 2 goals in this game, too. Like,
well, and they weren't. LA was actually at 3 goals in this game.
No, I'm not talking XG. I'm talking about like just in general. St. Louis.
Oh no, I'm saying goals. Remember, LA scored 3 goals in this game. Just one of them was an own
Oh,
goal.
that's right. Yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay. No, just
come on, Gavin. It's not even 10 o'clock. You got to be on the ball.
I am literally sick. St. Louis just
excuses.
If I'm LAFC, like St. Louis should not be scoring twice against us. That team is not a good enough offense to be getting 2 goals against us. I don't care how they get it. Like, it's got to be better from LAFC. So, concerning.
Yeah. Very concerning. All right. Well, Gavin, if you have nothing else to discuss on that one, I'll take us to our final match of the weekend. Portland. They go away to LA Galaxy, and everyone's looking at this being like, LA Galaxy has a chance to win. This blew me away, right? When I saw the match, like the stats, right? And they're always like, this is what the win percentage looked like at the start of the match. And it was like LA Galaxy 45% favored to win. I'm just like, who made this?
I said the same thing. I was like, how can they think LA Galaxy are favorites to win this match? How? Like, that shocked me.
Yeah. Nobody should think LA Galaxy should not be favorites to win any match until they show us that they can win a match.
One. Like, can you win one? We're 10 games into the season. You haven't won one. It's incredible.
Who gets the first win? Montreal or LA Galaxy? We're 10 wins in. We're 10 matches in.
Okay.
I think we talked about this before, and I think we decided Montreal. Do you change your position on that?
No. I think we said LA because Montreal have Philadelphia next, whereas LA have away to SKC next. So, like, out of those 2 games, I would think LA maybe sneak a result away against SKC. But
result is not a win, though.
Okay, a win. Sorry, a win away. Yeah, a win. I don't know. It's going to be a great battle to see who gets the first win of the season against the second to last and last place team in the league.
Here's, again, we're kind of on a tangent, but at what point, right? Like, if we get to halfway through the season and one of these teams is on 5 points, because that's possible for these teams. Like, normally I would be like, that's absurd. How could a team have 5 points after 17 matches?
We're only 7 matches away.
Yeah.
Out of the 2 teams, I think more likely is Montreal. I read it off earlier, but I'll just read it off again. Their upcoming matches: Philadelphia at home, New York City away, Columbus at home, Toronto at home, LAFC at home, Miami away, New England at home. Like, Montreal could continue to just lose or tie.
Implode.
Yeah.
Can they? Is it really imploding at this point? Like, I don't think they're like
No, I mean it's
expectations
just
can't go lower for them.
no. They're on the floor. So I think LA win before Montreal, but yeah, just Portland were running away with this game, and I think they just kind of lost focus for a few minutes, and Galaxy kind of punished them. They showed their first signs of life all season. It feels like got 2 goals, and then I think Portland got a really soft penalty for them for the 4th goal, and I'm eager to see how the game plays out if they don't get that penalty, to be honest. But the 4th goal, I think, just killed Galaxy because they were like, they're down 2 again. It was over. But yeah, I think the 4th goal had a big impact. But yeah, it was a great game for Portland overall. I mean, other than the penalty, their 3 goals were beautiful, beautiful goals. That Kelsey one was amazing. And Moreno's as well was really visually pleasing. A good game overall. I'd say similar, not similar to in the sense of just the craziness that Dallas Miami had, but like just the goals and both teams playing good soccer at times. I would say just visually a visually pleasing game from both from a neutral perspective.
Agree. Agree or disagree? Portland Timbers are one of the top 5 most watchable teams in the league.
Yeah, I think so. I think they're up there right now. They're scoring goals again this season. They haven't lost their goal scoring abilities, and they've fixed their defense thus far. So yeah, and just the goals that they do score are visually pleasing. So yeah, watchability is up right now.
For the record, they do not have 6 goal scorers. They have 7.
Oh, okay.
Can you guess how many players are tied for first on their goal scoring list?
I'm gonna say like 4.
Close. 3.
Okay.
They have 3 players who are all on 4 goals right now.
4 goals. Yeah, they're spreading the wealth.
Yeah. Can you guess who those 3 players are?
It's like trivia night.
It is like trivia night.
Mora.
One of them super easy. Yep, there you go. Mora.
That one's easy. Kelsey.
Yep. Kelsey. It's another easy one.
It's got to be DaCosta. Is it Anthony?
Yes.
How much does DaCosta have? 3? 2?
But yeah, he's got 4 assists.
Yeah.
And as impressive as that sounds, Anthony actually has 5 assists.
Well, he had 3 in this game, to be fair.
Well, okay, yeah.
But he was amazing. He was amazing.
Yeah, okay. One other very fun trivia piece that I think is going to make this more fun. Of those 3 players who are tied for first, who has the better per 90 goals scored? I will tell you, all 3 of them have played 10 matches.
Yeah, they've been doing a lot of rotation. Per 90 from the 3 players. Is it Mora? Kelsey?
That's a good guess. It is Kelsey.
I thought
he has played 418 minutes.
Oh, wow. That's not a ton.
Yeah. They've been rotating between Mora and Kelsey.
Yeah.
Pretty evenly, because Mora's only on 519. He's basically only played 1 full match more.
Yeah. Impressive. What they're doing is so impressive. That guy, a couple weeks ago, I called out a YouTube comment about Portland, and we talked about it. I need to read his response on YouTube. He responded. He sent a long response. So if you're listening to this, I'm sorry I haven't gotten to it yet. But I will read it and respond. Just he sent like a book. So
oh my god.
I'll get to it.
Gavin, I love this stat. How many shots on target do you think Kevin Kelsey has this year?
Don't tell me he has 4. Don't tell me.
I won't tell you that.
He has 4.
He has 5.
Okay. Dude, his goal against Galaxy that is like really good striker play. Like,
yeah.
Wow.
He's done really well this year.
Yeah.
I think this is what Cincinnati fans thought they had in Kelsey, but he, for whatever reason, just didn't seem to either fit the system or the identity, or he and the coaching or front office staff didn't. I don't know.
He's just an awkward
But
striker. Like, he looks a little bulky. He doesn't look very quick. He doesn't look like he's able to shift and shoot, but he can do it. So it's weird.
yeah,
It's weird.
it's a little odd, but yeah, I mean, it's money well spent. He's tied for top goal scorer for Portland.
Yeah.
So clearly that purchase worked out.
Phil Neville's doing a great job this season, by the way.
Yeah. Okay. Final question here. Greg Vanney will survive this season.
Yes.
Like until the end of the season.
Yes.
Okay.
I think that he'll just blame Ricky Puig's ACL, and that'll be that. He just won a championship, and they'll say, well, injuries, and we ran out of cap, and we really had to,
and they scramble
a squad together. So we're not going to blame it all on Vanney. I think he's.
I mean, in fairness, like that, it's like the bar question that you ask people, like, would you take a win in MLS Cup? Would you win MLS Cup but then be terrible for like 5 years afterwards? And I think most people would be like, heck yeah, I want to win MLS Cup. Give me that star.
But those 5 years.
Yeah, those 5
brutal.
Yeah, here you come. Here you come, LA Galaxy. I think they've got like, look, even if you navigate through this season, I don't think next season looks like 1,000,000% better.
I mean, if Puig comes back like crazy good, but
he'll solve a lot of issues. But I think that cap issue is gonna exist for more than just this year. I think they probably have like 2 years of cap issues.
Probably, yeah.
Like I've never seen a team have exactly $0 in cap.
To be fair, we haven't seen the cap situation until last season, so.
Right. Not officially. You see speculation for it, right?
Yeah.
But
yeah.
You get people who are like, well, we've gone through all like the transactions and we think that this is how much that teams have.
Yeah.
We've never officially seen an MLS sanctioned cap number released. But I've also never seen a team, even on speculation, have $0 of cap.
Me neither. Well, I guess having $0 in cap leads to 0 wins in 10 games. So other teams, beware.
They literally cannot buy a win. Like, I don't know what wins go for in MLS, but whatever it is, it's not free.
They don't have the cap space.
Yeah, they don't. Crazy. Well, Gavin, you made it. We did come in under 2 hours on this episode by just the skin of our teeth on this one.
We did.
It never made sense why people say that phrase, there's no skin on your teeth, there's enamel. But I guess enamel of your teeth does not roll off the tongue the same way.
It does not. The skin of your skin.
The skin of my skin, that's just skin. At that point, like, you're shedding skin. Have you ever vacuumed your bed before, Gavin? When you, like, clean it, right? And you're like, I'm going to clean the sheets, right? Have you ever taken, like, they make, like, these vacuums that you can, like, put on your bed, and, like, you can see how much, like, dust and, like, hair and, like, dead skin and, like, dust mites and all that exist, like, inside of your bed?
No.
I bet it would be terrifying for you, given how many animals you have.
It would probably be terrifying, yeah.
I would like to see that, though. But I'll tell you, it's a shocking amount. It's kind of disturbing.
Okay.
When you see how much you can pull out.
Gross.
That you're, like, sleeping in.
Gross.
Yeah.
That's horrifying.
It's like the videos when people are like, they're like popping blackheads or like pulling out hairs on like the YouTube videos, and people are like obsessed with them.
Yes,
yeah,
they're so gross. Please, those are awful.
Now you feel sick physically and mentally.
Yeah, I can't stand those videos.
Well, hey, if you're listening to this and you love those pimple popping videos, you can send them to Gavin on social media at LionsBlog1. You can also message the podcast at MLS Now Podcast, or you can message me with pimple popping videos. I will almost certainly not view them, but I will send you pictures of a cat instead, or maybe food. I don't know. But you can find me on social media at Mr. Danger Russ. And with that said, Gavin, listeners, wherever my cat is, I don't see him in the office tonight, but Gavin, listeners, and cat, until next time.
Until next time.